Hello and welcome back. I'm saying welcome back because I'm sure you've been watching throughout the morning and indeed throughout the past 2 days. Welcome back to the NZCIS, the New Zealand Campus of Innovation and Sport, just outside Wellington. We're here for the 2024 World Wheelchair Rugby Paralympic Qualification Tournament. And when we say Paralympic qualification, well, that is more or less what's up for grabs in this match. Earlier in the day, we saw Colombia get past Switzerland by 5 points. It was close, level pegging right up to the start of the fourth quarter, and then Colombia pulled away. Brazil versus the Netherlands to see who finishes second in their group and makes it through to the semi-finals. Unfortunately for New Zealand, they lost to both Brazil and the Netherlands. They get to face Canada later on, looking to get their campaign underway. And then after that, Australia versus Germany to see who finishes top of that group. I'm Drew Lilly, alongside me, Jai Waite. Jai, this promises to be an absolutely cracking match. It's the equivalent of a quarter-final, and we've got two very different teams coming up against one another.
Yeah, we'll see a slower, more controlled game with the Netherlands and probably a more helter-skelter game from Brazil.
Brazil with two high pointers. They've got two 3.5 pointers in Gabriel Feitosa and Julio Braz, and they've very much been the attacking outlets for the Brazilians, who are going to be playing in their usual yellow, blue and green. And there they are. And they have an incredibly good coach that you can just see on the right there, Benoit Labrec, the man from Quebec. Didn't realize it rhymed until I just said it. Benoit Labrec, the man from Quebec, the coach from Quebec, and who has coached many a team. He's used to coaching a team in yellow and blue. He's coached Sweden before, and he's there alongside him with Anna, his interpreter. He doesn't yet speak Portuguese. He speaks French, English and Swedish, but he's got an interpreter. I love the fact that he explains things and makes hand gestures, and then she translates the hand gestures as well when she's doing the translations. I love that. And there he is, explaining the X's and O's. I love that she does the exact hand gestures to him. It's brilliant. And Jai, you spoke to Benoit just before the match, so let's hear what the two of you had to say.
Benoit, big game. Tell us what's on the line.
It's a big game today. We met Holland the last 2 or 3 months. We met them twice, lost one, win one. We know a little bit what they do. It will be all right for us. So if we play our game, it should be all right.
And win today, what next?
That's a possibility to go to Paris now, because now we will finish second in the pool. Met Australia tomorrow will be tough, but on Sunday, good game maybe against Germany or Canada, and I think we'll be all right.
Well, go well. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always got a big smile on his face, Benoit. Not there at the moment because we are 75 seconds away from starting. His opposite number, you can see him in there. It's Martin van Hinter. That is the Netherlands lineup. They're going to start with Davy van den Dop, the 3-pointer, Job van der Laan, 2.5 points, Hector Loma, 1.5, and Ben Bazoun, as we were saying, a very balanced lineup. And you also spoke to their coach, Martin van Hinter, just a couple of minutes ago.
Martin, big game today?
Yes, a very big game, because the winner of this game has still a chance to go to Paris this summer.
You came into this tournament ranked 15th in the world. You've surprised a lot of people. Was it a surprise for you?
Yeah, I can say yes, but we know what we can, yes. And some players make some faults, but at this tournament everything goes right, and yeah, it's good.
Well, go well and good luck.
And there we have it, a couple of very affable coaches, nice guys to talk to, and, well, very nice guys, but there'll be no love lost between them. There's a shake of the hands between the two of them there. And now it is game on. Christopher Shaw and Cam Broadhead are the referees, and they're the ones who are going to get us underway. And a reminder, whoever wins this makes it through to the semi-finals. The stakes could hardly be bigger. Away we go.
Ah, yes. Dutch ball straight away. Nice tall player. Easy tip win for him. Oh, look at that. That's just stunning skills. there.
Great
from
hands
Loma.
from Hector Loma for a 1.5 pointer. He's one of the best 1.5 pointers in the world, isn't he?
He is. Like, you would not expect that from a low pointer normally. That is just, yeah, amazing.
First blood to the Netherlands, playing in blue, not in their usual oranje, not the usual orange. But Brazil, you can recognise their jersey, and one of the two high pointers that they've got gets them on the board straight away. That's Gabriel Feitosa, the number 7 and the number 11. 7-11, those are the ones that the Dutch are going to, well, they know they've got to keep an eye on them. You'd almost expect 7 and 11, Feitosa and Braz, to play the full 32 minutes.
I don't expect either side to sub in this game. These two teams, they'll run their best lineups with such a big prize on the line.
These two teams, unfortunately for the home nation, defeated New Zealand. Netherlands beating New Zealand 44-36 on the first day, and then Brazil getting the better of the Wheel Blacks 53-46 on day 2.
Dutch have got the Brazilians quite low here. This might be a timeout. Yes, great defense from the Dutch to start off with.
So a first timeout taken. You can see on the scoreboard there, for those of you who don't watch the sport too often, we've got 1-2, and the timeouts are just being updated alongside those, and it's going to be 3-2 for Brazil. They've taken one of their 4 floor timeouts, 30 seconds each, and the players can call those when play is going on, and it is to stop play to enable them to reset if they can't get the ball over the halfway line within 12 seconds, which is one of the rules. If they want to reset the shot clock, you can see the shot clock there just by the referee. It says 40, and it's now going to start counting down. So you have 40 seconds to score. And another thing you have to do is bounce the ball or offload it every 10 seconds. Oh, was that dropped? What a huge error there from Joop van der Laan. Dropped the ball going over the try line.
That's what we call an unforced error. You really got to watch those things. Oh! Second timeout, Brazil. Great defense by the Dutch. They're just really bringing it, getting those inbounds quite low. You'll see that the inbounder for the Brazilian team is a low pointer, Couto. He can't throw it very fast, so that's why you can see it's going in, and the Dutch have got them very low.
So that's 2 timeouts taken already. They need to get the ball over the halfway line. Feitosa is the man to do it. It's going to have to be a pass.
Great hit.
Feitosa to Braz, the 2 high pointers. So, well, we saw the Dutch win the first tip, so they should be the ones in the lead. It's the equivalent of winning the toss and electing to serve in tennis. And you meant to hold your service, you meant to score on your possessions. We had that turnover, and here, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball, and a big smile on the face there of Joop van der Laan. So, a turnover from the Dutch. However, they've forced the Brazilians to take 2 of their 4 timeouts already. So it's all been happening in the first minute and 40 seconds.
That was great speed there from Feitosa. Just showing, you know, that's the kind of pace he brings in this game.
We were saying 2 different lineups, so it's a high-low is what Brazil have got. 2 high pointers, Feitosa and Braz. 3.5 points is their classification, the highest classification you can have. And if you're playing with 2 3.5s, you need 2 0.5s as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Each lineup has to add up to 8 points over your 4 players. So a little bit of maths involved in wheelchair rugby.
Indeed, it's almost like a tipping competition or fantasy football or a salary cap. You're allowed 8 points maximum. Dutch get it away to Loma. Loma, the low pointer, always with a big smile on his face.
Wheelchair rugby's happiest player, I'd say.
He is indeed, he is. Never seen him without a smile. And one of the best 1.5 pointers in the game, an incredible player.
Holding foul. So this is where in wheelchair rugby you're not allowed to touch the body. You can contest the ball, you can go for the ball, strip the ball, but arm-on-arm contact, not allowed.
And so into the bin The sin bin goes Job van der Laan. So it's 4-on-3 for the Brazilians, and it will be 4-on-3 until they score, or in the unlikely event they don't score. Then van der Laan, number 8 there, will stay in the bin for a minute. Braz taking his time to make sure that his teammates have set up, because as soon as you score, attack turns into defense. So you need to be defending immediately. That's why he's barking out instructions.
This is smart by the Dutch, because at the moment, number 8's being taken out by Feitosa, who's one of their best defenders. So the Dutch should be able to do this quite easily. Might have just given them the commentator's curse.
Exactly. So there we go. Feitosa managed to get out of the trap and then came across and put some pressure there on Ben Bazoun, the number 7. A loose pass came out, and that's another turnover that the Dutch have committed. So Brazil a point to the good, and now they have possession, looking to make it a 2-point lead. The Braz making sure he didn't go out of play behind the line. You can't put a wheel over any of the lines that mark out the court, and he ends up going coast to coast, and it is a 2-point lead for Brazil.
A 3-on-2 situation heading now. The Dutch are just easy goal. This is a time where the defense can transition fast. You can pick up your opposition really. You really want to get on them really early so they don't get a chance to get the ball.
Van der Dop's turn it was to go the length of the court.
And here we go. We've got another low point. Couto inbounding. It won't be a very big one. And the Dutch can get them quite low. Oh, he got out of that so well.
You could see Van den Dop, the number 14 for the Dutch, trying to push Braz over his own try line, which would have forced a turnover, since you can't take the ball out of play.
Benoit's looking to get his Brazilian team back in the key defense at the moment. He's calling his team back. This is where we fall back into that white area you see at the end of the court, which is we call the key.
2 of them in the key. You're allowed 3 defenders in the key, not 4. And attackers can only spend 10 seconds in there, much along the lines of basketball. No 10 seconds here. That was just a long outbound pass. That's the advantage of having the high-low lineup. If you've got 2 3.5 pointers,
yes,
one of them can inbound the length of the court, and the other one can chase on it and pick it up.
Yeah, and as a defensive team, you really have to be switched on. Make sure you identify the inbounder really fast. And here we see Brazilians. Oh, you'll see that they're only allowed 3 players to defend in that space. Again, that same play, Drew.
There it is again. It's 7-11. This time it was 11-7. So Braz with the huge inbound and Feitosa racing onto the end of it to pick it up. Quick scores as well. It's I come up with a lot of sporting analogies because I know a lot of people who enjoy sport, and they enjoy a lot of sports. And it's almost like in tennis where you hold your service 15 love, 30 love, 40 love, Nick Kyrgios-esque, and you can hold service in the space of a minute, and all of a sudden your opponent's thinking, geez, I've barely had a minute to breathe, and now it's up to me to hold service again. And that's the case for the Dutch here.
Yeah, exactly.
They're being scored on really quickly.
Now I think, there we go. One of the Brazilians might have been hit over the baseline here. I know. Not quite sure what that penalty was for. It's unusual for low pointers to end up in the penalty. There we go. Yeah, they put the wrong person. I think that might have been a holding foul.
So a turnover from or a holding foul from the Brazilians. It's the Dutch in possession. They were in possession to begin with, so now it's 4-on-3. And it's Feitosa who is in the bin there.
So what the Dutch are trying to do now is tie up Braz. They want to try and trap him so that when Brazil go to inbound, he's already taken out a play. So that's why you can see them kind of maneuvering around, trying to get a position on him.
That's what's happening on the right of your screen. You need eyes in the back of your head when you're watching and playing wheelchair rugby. So Feitosa comes out of the sin bin and elected to inbound. Who's he going to inbound to, though?
Oh, turnover. Good pressure from the Dutch. And that, again, is the disadvantage of having a low point inbound. They just can't throw it that far.
So the deficit is halved. A turnover for the Dutch in their favour, and they get it back to a one-score game. It's been thrilling stuff. We are 5 minutes into this contest, and it's gone this way and that.
I expect we'll see this game go this way the whole way through. It's going to be goal for goal.
The Brazilians, who had a 2-point advantage, and they're going to get the 1-point advantage here.
I would say at the moment, I think it still favours Brazil. They're getting the easier scores out of the two.
They're scoring very quickly,
Yeah.
very smoothly. The only thing that speaks against them at the moment is that they've had to use 2 of their timeouts, and the Netherlands still have 4. We saw in the opening game, which was for classification between Colombia and Switzerland, once the Swiss had lost all of their timeouts, everything went to pot.
Okay, so what's happened here is Bras has punctured wheel. You can see he can't move. And the Dutch were calling out to their player to score. So the moment the Dutch player turned back towards the Brazilian player with the punctured wheel, the referees are obliged to stop the game so they can change the wheel.
If you're in possession and heading towards the try line and keep heading towards the try line without deviating, then you're allowed to carry on playing. If not, then play is restarted with an inbound from the sideline. Van der Laan going round the back, hands it off to Van den Dop.
And you'll see in these situations, they always like to put the ball in the hands of their most functional player, so the 3.0 in this case, because he's the most able to pass the ball and get through the gaps.
Bit of a show and go there. A pump fake and 10-all.
Great pressure there from Loma.
They're trying to force him out of play. And Martin van Hinter is the one who calls out the coach there. You could see the celebrations as they forced Braz out of play. And that is another turnover. So there were 2 turnovers against the Dutch early on. Now 2 in their favour. Hector Loma. That'll put a smile on his face.
So we see here again, they're setting up for a key attack. They'll put their low point players, the 0.5s on the corners. 4 in the key.
So I thought that they'd forced a turnover, but no, Feitosa managed to call for a timeout before he was pushed out of play. So that resets and maintains their possession, but it means they've used 3 of their 4 timeouts already. Now, Hector Loma, the number 42, has been sent to the sin bin because he was out of play, pushed out of play.
So again, it's that you're only allowed 3 players in that white box, and the Dutch had ended up with 4, so he ended up being the 4th.
So 4 on 3 for the Brazilians, and we're getting into the last 80 seconds. So they're going to look to score at certain times. They're going to run down the clock because it's important to have the last possession and get the last score on the board. So they're going to run down the clock as much as they possibly can, quite possibly to 55 seconds.
Exactly, because then what this is going to leave them, they're going to try and defend really well here so that they'll be left with somewhere between 40 and 30 seconds to score.
Loma comes out of the bin. If you can score last, then that's a 1-point advantage for you. And then the possession will go to Brazil at the start of the second period. You can see a possession arrow there on the white table, the WWR officials table.
He scores as fast. Oh. jump ball.
That possession arrow is going to change. Is this a jump ball, a held ball?
Wow, Loma really needed to score that. He needed to score that fast, and not quite sure if that was communicated to him at that point.
So a held ball, like a jump ball in basketball.
Oh, it's so close that got out of trouble, Brazil there.
So the arrow has changed the other way, because that arrow says who gets possession next time there is a contested possession, a held ball, or at the start of the next quarter. So Brazil prevented the Dutch from scoring, got one on a turnover, and they've got the possession arrow in their favour. It's all going the way of the Brazilians at the moment. The Dutch are going to try to score as late as possible to prevent the Brazilians from scoring.
So you see now a lot of positioning here. They're going to try and tie up one of those 3.5s, the Dutch, just so it makes it easier for their player to get through here. Foul.
You could see the frustration on Benoit Labrec. He's there pacing up and down. 6 seconds to go.
Still not an easy score, 6 seconds.
It's not. The shot clock has been switched off because it's the same as the game clock. So they have 6 seconds, but they need to score. 6 starts now as soon as it's been touched after the inbound. Can he get over? Yes, he can with 0.1 seconds to go. There will be a huge inbound though. There won't. They're just going to keep that in their laps. And at the end of the first quarter, absolutely neck and neck. Brazil 12, Netherlands 11. It could barely be any tighter. Brazil 12, Netherlands 11. Netherlands getting the last score of the first quarter. Possession arrow was changed as well. So the Netherlands won the first tip-off. Brazil, I think, thinking that they were going to get possession, but no, they had a jump ball, a contested possession, so they got a possession towards the end of the first quarter, and it's Netherlands who get the last score of the first quarter, and they will be looking to get the first score of the second quarter and tie this game up. I can't see either of these two teams pulling away from one another. This match is going to be right in the balance until the very end.
It's going to be punch and counter punch all the way through this match. And here we see Van der Dop again controlling the position here. European teams are so strong at that. Key attack is their bread and butter.
That's what the Dutch did so well against New Zealand, that key attack all the way through. And the Dutch defeating New Zealand 44-36 on the opening day.
And we'll see Loma and his counterpart. You can see they've trapped Brass there.
And have they forced them into taking their fourth and final timeout? Yes, they have. All 4 timeouts from the floor burnt by Brazil within a quarter and 22 seconds.
And you can see there on that last defense, it was, there we are, Lomas a 1.5 and number 7 there a 1. So that's 2.5 points taking out 3.5 points. So that's the advantage of good defense.
That's the equation. And now setting up back in the key are the Dutch. We will see them appear once the ball is moved over the halfway line, and there they are, all 4 of them, 3 in and 1 just outside. Happy Hector is the one just outside. Feitosa trying to barge his way through.
Wow, such great passing and catching. That's like amazing to throw it right over the key and into the corner to score that goal. Great work, Feitosa.
The winner of this match will play the winner of Australia versus Germany. Australia and Germany in Group A. They've already secured the top 2 spots, and who finishes first, who finishes second will be decided a little later on today when those two play.
Van der Laan with the score.
I'm sure he holds on to it this time.
Wow, yeah, see, great spreading game. Wheelchair rugby is much like many other sports, where just spreading the court is key to getting the ball up and scoring. Oh, lucky get out of that equipment timeout. They're out of timeout, so what's happened now? I think there might be another puncher here, so they can...
Was he? Yes, or I thought he might have taken a poke in the eye, or he seemed to
is
be...
that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah. So calling for a medical timeout and saying to the refs, saying to Christopher Shaw and Cam Broadhead, look, I've taken a hand to the face. We need to start again here. And
this drag race, he might go coast to coast here. Oh, so close. That could have been dangerous, that hit.
Van der Laan managed to slow him down. Loma slows him down as well.
Get a bounce in, get a bounce. So you got 10 seconds to bounce or pass. He was riding that 10 seconds very close.
It ended up being prized out of his grasp by Van der Laan, but it rolled off Van der Laan's chair. So another bite of the cherry, a third bite of the cherry for the Brazilians, but they've got 12 seconds from now to score. You can see the shot clock there. 8, 7, ticking down. You can hear it being counted down in Portuguese.
By the thinnest of margins.
That was, wasn't it, there? Camel through the eye of a needle.
And here we go, the Dutch back with that really kind of methodical play to get it up court. You see here, Loma is long. Oh! Take some of that.
It was a huge hit. And I'm wondering whether they took more than 12 seconds to get it over.
It's
or
a
was it just
holding
the hit?
foul.
It's the holding foul.
You see, he ended up on the lap of the Brazilian player. And you can't land on your opposition player's body. You can't touch them.
So Van der Laan,
Get some of that, son. Oh,
Feitosa forces Van der Laan into the reach, making illegal contact, and you can see the frustration on the face of Van den Dop.
sometimes a little bit of lost dignity sometimes when that happens too.
Well, you can see why it was originally called murder ball before the International Paralympic Committee said,
Yeah.
we'll quite happily have you as part of the fold, but
Yeah.
we need to
Yeah.
change your name by
Yeah.
deed poll.
Yes.
Because it's not really that much of a
No.
rugby sport. It's a
It's not.
sport in its own right.
Yeah.
It's a sport, as I've said before,
Yeah.
that was developed purely for wheelchair users. It's not an adapted version of another sport. So it's a sport fully in its own right.
It is an actual oh, this could be tough. This could be tough. They will call a timeout if they pick this up. Yes. You're so right, Drew. This game is, I believe, one of the only Paralympic sports that was developed in its own right and not an adaptation of basketball or football.
Rugby, yes.
Rugby, yeah.
Yep.
And it does have, I mean, it has elements of lots of sports like ice hockey, American football, basketball. I even say netball because the way you have to spread the court.
Spread the court.
Yep. It's, funnily enough, in my day, we used to play the Auckland Blues once a year in a game, and then we'd play the Silver Ferns. And the rugby players didn't quite adapt to it, and the Silver Ferns were the best team to play because they knew how to
Moving
spread the
around,
court,
yep.
and they'd like 2-on-2, makes
Yep.
2-on-1. And
So the Dutch used one of their timeouts as soon as Loma was in possession of. You can't call a timeout if you're not in possession of the ball, or if one of your teammates isn't in possession of the ball.
I would say, though, when we did play the Auckland Blues, Joe Rithikoko was just as fast in a wheelchair as he was on the rugby field.
Yep.
Oh, good pressure here from the Dutch. Oh, Van der Laan went for the reach. He should have just kept pushing, and I think he may have got a turnover. We used to say hands on wheels wins defense.
You can see the referee there signaling an M to get the mechanics on for a change of equipment there.
Oh, he's taking off the his classification point number off the back of his chair there.
I knew that classification was ongoing, but I didn't realise it happened in the middle of a game. Maybe he's going to come back on with a 3 or a 2.5. That would be a huge advantage for Brazil. That's that table there, isn't it?
Yes,
the
it is, the
bottom right of
classifiers.
screen.
They're the ones that determine what point grading these players are put into. Each player is put in a point classification based on their level of function. So there you see Van den Dop, a 3-pointer for the Dutch. So he's what we call a quad amputee, so he's got missing limbs. Oh, no timeouts, this is turnover. Again, punch and counter punch.
So that was Braz, who was pushed over his own try line.
And so you'll see some of the slower guys on the court for the Brazilians. They're called 0.5s, and they're usually spinal cord injuries, a C5, broken their neck. They might not have triceps or much hand function. They can't handle the ball or push fast, but they're still valuable members in this lineup. Often what their role is to defend and help their ball carriers get up the court. And that's why their chairs are slightly different. They're designed to like pick and hold those other chairs. You'll see now like they'll be trying to like get a hold on the Dutch players.
Yes, you can see the different chairs there on the bench for the Dutch.
Yep.
Some of them with big pick bars, so the one to the left there, and then the more rounded ones for more mobility, getting in and out, avoiding your opponents.
Oh, Loma again. Just always seems to be available and up free. And there's that smile.
Happy Hector. 17 points apiece.
Can't hit behind the wheel, but he still managed to hold on, does Braz. And think that was an inadvertent hit here. Sometimes these players try to sell it there, Drew. They'll try and draw a foul.
So we'll see it here. Oh, it was just to the side.
Yeah. Maybe that's just a bit of like, that's for what you did to my teammate.
Exactly.
A couple of minutes
yes.
ago. Yeah.
A little bit of a nudge.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, it was Van der Laan who gave it back to him.
Yes.
Oh, that wasn't time to pass. He was already over.
He's lucky because he forced that. He threw that, Van der Laan, and he threw it onto a Brazilian wheel, and it went out off that Brazilian wheel. So the Dutch will get possession. Loma with the inbound. They're trying to push Van der Laan out of play.
And again, Loma free for the pass. Ooh! Wow! So close.
Van den Dop realised that his opposite number was going to ground and thought, just keep looking forwards, keep heading to the try line, score that try, and then they can flip him back up afterwards.
He's keeping the Brazilian bench busy as Feitosa.
He's a huge try scorer. He spends a lot of time in the sin bin as well. We've seen that in previous games here. We saw it at the Parapan Games last November in Santiago in Chile, where Brazil finished third. They got bronze medal, lost to Colombia in the group stage, but still beat them 56-51 in the bronze medal match. And then the gold medal match was between USA and Canada. USA winning that one. Canada won in the group stages when the two of them met, and then USA won in the final, and that meant they're going directly to the Paralympic Games.
Good use of a timeout here by the Dutch. Their 12 seconds was getting close, so just a time to get over and regroup, get some words of wisdom from their coach, Martin.
So
yes.
Making sure that they could reset and get over the halfway line. Yes, so USA defeated Canada in the final. That meant that USA directly booked their ticket for Paris and the Paralympics, and it meant that Canada and Brazil came down here for the qualifying tournament, and Colombia also made it through as well because there were two spots open for two teams that hadn't qualified via their continental qualification tournaments but were up there in the rankings as well. The Europeans, that was France as the hosts. They also won the Euros. They defeated Great Britain in the final and Denmark finished third, so those three teams made it through directly. And then Asia, Oceania, it was Japan who beat Australia in that final. So Japan directly making it to Paris, and Australia having to come here, and there's a turnover.
Great work by Brazil. This match has just gone this way the whole time. They'll get up by two. Dutch will pull it back some.
Feitosa picking up the ball from the turnover, and a huge chest pass to his fellow high pointer. You've got one at the back, one at the front.
Van der Laan with the ball. He's got brass on him. He'll look just to hold it here and get a pass up court. Oh no, he does well to get out of there.
Needs to get it over the halfway line.
Brazil doing it tough now in the scores. Oh, sorry, Dutch. The Brazil are really bringing the heat now.
2019 and possession for Brazil.
When you do it tough on your scores, it really makes it hard to transition on those defense, onto your defense. So really has ebbed and flowed this match.
You spend 40 seconds desperately trying to score, and then your opponents just whiz down the other end of the court and score in 5 seconds. It's very tiring. You're attacking, defending, attacking, defending. No time for a breather, no outlets.
Here we go, this could be trouble here. Ah, no, Brass gets away. And now you see, easy score, they can transition fast.
That's what you have with two high pointers.
This could be a timeout coming up here. Oh, no, great pass and being available there by Van der Laan.
The match clock and shot clock don't start until the inbound has been touched by a player or a chair, but you can't take all the time in the world to inbound. You have 10 seconds in which to inbound, even if the clock isn't counting down, the referees are. And the shot clock was going to come into play here, but Loma gets free once again. He's in line to be their top try scorer today, Hector.
I would like to see him go a little bit wider when he goes long, because it does make it a bit harder to pass when he's already in the middle of the court. I think that'll make it a bit easier for the Dutch. This could be something. Oh!
Hector picks it up and gets the steal and draws the reaching foul.
And that smile's back.
Indeed. It's huge on attack, huge on defense. So quite clearly shown there by the referee, a hand coming in on an arm. Brazil with the 1 point advantage, but the Dutch with possession. 4 on 3. Well, another way of putting it is 8 on 5.5, because a 3.5 pointer is off the court for the Brazilians at the moment, in the form of Feitosa, and Braz, the other one, has been locked in by 3 Dutch players. And 2 of them locking him in, and the other one going to try to keep an eye on the other high pointer.
And we've seen before what happens when they take out Braz with those 2, with that 2.5, with the 1 and the 1.5. This may cause a turnover, and look what's going to happen. Exactly what we thought would happen.
There we go. So they were forced to it. The Brazilians were forced to try to inbound there to the number 11 Braz, and Hector Loma was right there. So a turnover, 21 all, and now it's the Dutch with possession.
Oh, he just took it. I thought he was going to fumble that ball. Wow. Now they've forced Feitosa to inbound. This is great transition here by the Dutch. And again, ooh, it's going to be tight, this. Van der Laan's going to have to work hard here.
Can he get him out of bounds?
Not quite sure what the call was here. Maybe that was penalty goal. I think it might have been they called that a penalty goal.
There was the whistle before Braz went over the line, so it was a penalty goal.
I think the penalty was, I think Van der Laan must have tried to reach in on the ball and got called for a reaching foul.
And it stopped a clear try-scoring opportunity. Van der Laan in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Timeout called.
Good time to use it. This is that getting close to the end of the quarter. They want to be getting that score, that 55, 50-second mark.
And you look at the scoreboard, 22-22. You want to get the score.
You do, particularly because Brazil's going to have the ball the next quarter. They've got the arrow, so you want to make sure if you're the Dutch team that you're going to be scoring last in this quarter.
Martin van Hinter going through the ins and outs, using the 30 seconds to say what he has to say as quickly as he possibly can. .68 seconds to go. Oof. Not the best of inbounds, but it got there. 12 seconds to get over the halfway line. Not yet done. Just about done. No, and it's a giveaway. It's a turnover. Using a timeout and then committing a turnover. That is a cardinal sin. And there we go. Braz scores with 48.3 seconds to go. That means even if the Dutch take all 40 seconds on the shot clock here, the Brazilians will get the ball and have one last chance to score. That all went wrong for the Dutch there.
Yeah, I think what they should look to do now is maybe run out all 40 seconds on this, if they get over half. He's not fast enough to
Ben
get there.
Bazoun, can he get it? Yes, he can. He was
Oh,
bounced.
no
What a
way.
pass. What a pass from
What
Ben
a
Bazoun.
pass.
He managed to corral it. Was that Benoit Labrec saying number 7 was out? But
Yeah.
he managed to get possession of the ball and then get it forward to Van der Laan.
Now the Dutch really need to hustle here. They could get another turnover if they really... Oh, great work by, at the moment, the 2 low pointers up top. Look at that pass. That was stunning.
Amazing. Amazing. So,
Van der
Brazil.
Dok can't quite stop. Brazil, are they looking to score fast here? Surely not.
They're going to take their time, but they're going to be forced
No
over,
way.
you'd have thought. They're going to try and force
14
him
seconds.
over.
What were they thinking?
So the Dutch have got 14 seconds in which to score. Brazil lead now. The 14 seconds starts now. You want to make sure you don't give the ball away. Don't give it a turnover. The ball needs to go over the halfway line. It's going to be a Hail Mary.
Oh, not quite.
Again, it was Bazoun trying to get there. That would have been a miracle if it had landed in his lap. Needed just a little bit of backspin, but that was just a fast ball. Needed to be a curve ball, a little bit of backspin on it. Obviously easy for me to say that from my commentator's position. The ball will be touched, held, and at the end of the first half, Brazil by the slimmest of margins. They lead the Netherlands 24-23. We are back for the second half of what is, to all intents and purposes, a quarter final. Whoever wins this goes through to the semis. And at the moment, it's Brazil 24, Netherlands 23. Nothing to choose between the two of them. Brazil have a 1-point lead. They have the possession arrow that you can see on the white table there, and that's just turning over. So they had the first contested possession, and that is at the start of this third quarter.
Dutch doing a good job here of keeping the Brazilians out. And Feitosa still can't get through. Oh, turnover. I think that's a turnover. I think he left the court. Oh, no, it was a penalty goal.
Right, so it was leaving the court, but it was a Dutch player that did so. So a 2-point difference. The Dutch now in possession, though.
Van der Laan holding that ball in a strong hand. 2.5, you can see he's got slight imbalance because one side's more effective than the other in his function. So he falls into that 2.5 class.
Try for try in the opening 40 seconds.
And the Brazilians looking to fall back into the key here. They're ahead, so they don't need to chase this game. They can sit back, maybe get a bit of a rest. So all their players have fallen back to the other end of the court.
Having an equipment change there again for Julio Braz.
Yeah, nice and quick. These changeovers, that axle there just pops in. Those axles are about $80 to $100 each, and they bend quite frequently in wheelchair rugby with all these hits.
The good thing for the Dutch is that their captain, who is on the bench, number 6, Reda Houam, he is their equipment supplier. He supplies all of the chairs, which is why the Dutch chairs always look absolutely spick and span. They look as if they're brand new.
Is that insider trading?
Well, now you know.
Oh, could be turnover. It is. Again, counter punch.
There we go. That bounced off the lap of Van der Laan. That's a couple of times that he's bobbled the ball. But possession now for the Dutch.
And again, that nice controlled style that they like, that we talked about at the start of the game. Europeans love this, where it's a bit more controlled. They don't like that helter-skelter that those high-point, 3.5 players bring from Brazil.
So the ball went out of a play, but it came off a Brazilian arm or chair. The Dutch with the opportunity to equalise, and they do so. Well, there we go. It was a 1-point advantage for Brazil, and they had possession, and now we are once again back level
look at this.
again.
Loma taking out a 3.5 on the baseline. This could be trouble. Oh, get out. That was such a good play there from Feitosa. Loma almost causing a turnover there.
We've had 2 minutes of this quarter already. It's flown by. Brazil with a 1-point lead.
Oh, Loma left his man there. Loma coming on. He should have got a screen on that, on Braz.
Ball needs to be bounced and get over the halfway line, and Van der Laan just about manages to do that.
It was a great screen there by Reda Houam. The 1-pointer for the Dutch, just hitting up court, got his man free to get him over half. Now he's doing a great work on the baseline. A turnover, Dutch. Wow.
Absolutely amazing. They were a point behind and had no possession, and then look at that. The arm reached in there perfectly by Van der Laan. Getting the ball, not the man. A huge bunted inbound, and if there's anyone who's got the pace to get that, it's Braz.
Yeah. And now back to that fast-scoring game, which the Dutch don't like, so they need to just rethink how they defend here.
Brazil were a point up and had possession. Now it's level. The Dutch have the ball. The Dutch have one timeout left that could be crucial.
Van der Laan just needs to sit here. He's got 2 players. He can just sit still and look for a pass.
Yes, they don't want to use that timeout just yet.
Oh, they've got the plane now. They've got the hands in the 1-pointer here. This could be dangerous for the Dutch.
Bazan was never going to have the wheels to get to the end and outpace his opponents there. So they hand it off, and it's an equipment timeout, as you can see from what the referee is signalling, which I think certainly helps the Dutch, doesn't it?
It does. I think it looks like a strap that's come loose. So each of these players are like strapped into their chairs, usually 5 or 6 points, so they'll have like a hip strap, these 3.5s that just hold them into the chair, so when they fall out, they're not going to come out of the chair as well. Also helps them hit harder. So often the knees are strapped in, the hips, the feet.
Loma with the inbound to Van den Dop, who tries to protect the ball. He's got Braz for company.
They've only got 8 seconds to score here. The shot clock's counting down.
Can he do it on his own? No, he can't, but what a pass.
Van der Laan.
In the right position at the right time. Made sure he was in the right position at the right time.
Brazilians made to work a little bit harder there, so it was good work there by the Dutch. And again, Loma, better screen that time. Look at that, Loma, the pick there, he came on, got his player free. That's the role he needs to play. And now look, easy score for them. Now the Dutch fall back to the key.
Van der Laan taking his time so these 3 teammates could go back and sit right in front of the key at the opposite end of the court.
The Brazilians don't want to get too caught up on keeping Van der Laan back. They might end up in trouble themselves. Although the Dutch have said, do all the work yourself, buddy. We'll wait back here.
It's a breather for 3 of them. That's absolutely perfect there. And then Braz says, you've had enough of a breather. I'm going to barge my way through. And I like my sporting analogies. It's 30 all. And a break of service comes. 31-30.
It really is. Who's going to take this game by the scruff of the neck here? Lomar's wide. He's going to stay wide and look for the pass here. He's drawing a player away. Much better. He was much wider there. Much better play. This is good defense here by the Dutch. Oh, it's like he just knew his buddy Feitosa was up high and he just chucked it. No look pass.
You know he's going to be there, and you know he's going to catch up with it. It's a bit like watching bat and bond for Australia, the luxury that you have. Phipps and Robinson when they're playing for Team GB. And then you've got a couple of 3-pointers for France. You've got Yvernin and Verdun.
Yeah,
the Japanese, I could run through all of their 3.5 pointers, but we'd be here all day. The embarrassment of riches that they have.
I was talking to Benoit before this game, and he was saying that the 2 Brazilian 3.5s, Feitosa and Blas, play on the same team regionally in Brazil, so they know each other very well.
Yes, on the one hand, you get a lot of countries where there is a smaller championship, so you end up playing the same people the same time, and it's very good for when it's a small championship like that to be able to travel. And the Brazilians, certainly, they seem to have the funding now, which means that they can travel around the world.
That makes a massive difference to these programs are fully professional now. Like, you have to be able to travel and play all these different teams around the world to get experience and get exposure. Brazil, Benoit said that before this tournament they've been to Japan, they went to Europe, they've just been traveling, just getting up to speed, that's how much this qualification means to them.
Yes, 3 of the 4 currently out there for Brazil play for the Santer club. The only exception is Couto, Lucas Couto, the number 2 who plays for Ronins.
Ooh. Now it's the Brazilians with their tails up, really bringing that defense. Started the quarter with the Dutch really pushing hard. Now the Brazilians just lifted again.
Braz on the one side, Feitosa running a little bit of a screen for him, doing a bit of shepherding.
And Loma just waiting for his player, Van der Laan, to be free. Instead gives it to Van den Dop. And Loma needs to get it. Oh, stop there. He just needs to keep moving up court. That's a good screen, but oh, spun. He had to call a timeout.
So you can see the T symbol, the final timeout has been called by the Dutch. So no floor timeouts left. 11 minutes and 21 seconds of this match, and it's all going to be done out there on the floor. No tactics anymore. No tactical pauses, no timeouts. It's just a case of scoring points.
Yeah, and I think that's where the advantage of Brazil with that combination and the Feitosa and Braz with that long pass, they just know each other's there. That might, you know...
It's a get out of jail free card at times. If you can throw it that far forward, if you've got that much trunk function where you can get the ball that far forward, and if one of them can do it and the other one can race onto the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what we're probably going to see. That's what they're just going to have to do when they get under pressure in this game, and I think that's probably what might just give them the edge here.
Slightly longer break than the 30 seconds because there was a 30-second timeout and a change of equipment.
Sometimes teams do call equipment and then equipment again. They've got unlimited equipment timeouts, so... He needs to get the hands back into the... You want to get the ball back into the hands of your higher point players as soon as you can.
Penalty try there as Feitosa went over the line.
I feel like the Dutch just need to lift their energy a bit more here. They're just kind of falling a bit flat.
Or is it a score?
I think Feitosa's in the bin.
Right. So they said it wasn't a guaranteed score. Feitosa's in the sin bin. It's not a penalty try.
What the Dutch need to do here is spread out because they're making it easy for Braz to kind of play in between the two players. We just need one of them to be a bit wider. See, there we go. Van den Dop going wide, taking the defender away. It should be a penalty. I think they're trying to draw a penalty there on the Brazilian player in the corner.
Yes, trying to get Juninho, Gilson Virsma Junior, trying to get him out and make it a penalty try, which would then keep Feitosa in the bin.
And I think just off screen you won't see it, but the Brazilians have sent Couto long. And I don't think the Dutch have realised that he's way up there, and you watch, there'll be a long pass coming up here. There we go, there's the pass. Great setup by the Brazilians. They knew what was going to come. The Dutch just weren't quite switched on to what was happening. This might be a contact warning. You only get... So once the whistle's, the ball's not in play, you can't hit the other opposition players with your chair. You can, once the whistle's gone, it's free for all. You can smash each other regardless if the ball's in. But so you get one warning each quarter.
And after that warning,
you have to go to the bin or it's a turnover. So now the Dutch scoring easy. They should be transitioning fast, but they just seem to be just kind of coasting down. It's where they should be picking up. I see why. The player they want to pick up is on the ground.
back on 2 wheels.
I think the last game we did, Feitosa spent a lot of time in the bin. This time he's spending a lot of time on the floor.
Indeed. You see, he had a water bottle waiting for him in the sin bin.
Yeah. Good touch. The pass goes, and again that combination.
11-7. Or vice versa. It's their outlet.
And now the Brazilians doing a good job. Oh. Turnover. Oh, but he leaves. Yeah, back to the Dutch. He got hit out of court.
Double turnover. So it was picked up by Juninho, the number 1, and then he was, so you'll see him hove into view. He gets it. Actually, no, it was Feitosa, wasn't it? I thought it was far too quick for it to be Juninho. It was Feitosa. And he then went out of play. So the Dutch have another 40 seconds, another 10 to get it over the line, and they do.
Now, if I was the Dutch coach, I'd be getting ready for a coach's timeout just to give them a bit of a reset for this last push in this quarter. You can't call that timeout until there's a stoppage in play.
Having to go the long way round. And it's batted away. And the ball is going to be picked up. It's not going to go out of play. Huge turnover for the Brazilians. That ball could have gone anywhere. It was batted down and then picked up. So that is huge in the context of this match.
I think when the Dutch look back at this game, they're going to look at these final 2 minutes in each quarter, and there's been exactly this, turnovers in each of these last 2 minutes. And again, will Van der Laan get it? No timeouts.
He was going out of play. There was nothing he could do to stop it. Couldn't take a timeout. Martin van Hinter now on his feet, so he picks it up and tries to get rid of it too late. Hadn't got the function to get rid of it quickly enough. And I do believe there has been a coach's timeout. Anyone would think you played this game before, John?
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're watching the game and you see the players, and just how I was saying, they were looking a bit flat, and I think a coach's timeout's a good time just to bring your players in, just refocus what the roles are, and it just brings a bit more energy back onto the court.
He couldn't have taken it any earlier because the ball didn't go dead, but it might be shutting the stable door after the horses bolted. It's 36-34 for Brazil, and they are in possession now.
Yeah.
So they can make it a 3-point game. They're going to, both teams are going to be desperate to score. And they're going to score quickly.
And now that's going to give them the advantage. Unless the Dutch score quickly here, they will get the last score of the Brazilians.
No tactical timeouts can be taken.
Brazil's doing such a great job of getting Van der Laan close to the baseline and getting, trapping him down there so he can't get away. Bras, big smile on his face.
Indeed, yes. Saying, really? You're not going to give me the benefit of the doubt there, the 50-50 call. So the Dutch get to set up.
Loma again.
He won't have the wheels.
No.
Gets bashed by 7 and 11.
And again, that shot clock down to 15 seconds. Not what the clock you see on the screen here, but
Yes, the clock there that was 8 and then went back to 40. So Brazil 2 points to the good, and they have 21 seconds in which to score. The Dutch will get the final possession, get the first possession going into the final quarter. But what you need is points on the board. All but a turnover there, not quite. Get it into the hands of one of your high pointers.
This could be trouble.
7 and 11, get them out of trouble. 11 and 7, get them out of trouble.
Goal. Wow.
And there, no time management there. They're just thinking, get the point. With 2 points clear, let's make it 3.
Oh, what's happened here?
Is it
some sort of challenge on the call, or
is it literally the ball? It's literally the ball, I think.
Yeah. Maybe it just got a bit deflated, the other ball, so
What's the Dutch who'll be feeling deflated at the moment. They are 3 points down. They desperately need a score here.
Oh, if they do this, let ball.
And then the Brazilians decide to keep it in their laps. Brazil, who have pulled 3 points clear, they lead the Netherlands 38-35 with just 8 minutes to go. We are back for the final 8 minutes of this match. A quarter-final in all but name. It's the final group game here between Brazil and the Netherlands. The winners go through to the semi-finals, where they will face the winners of the Group A game between Australia and Germany later on. Brazil in the box seat at the moment. They lead by 3 points. The Dutch in blue, if you're just joining us, have the first possession of this final quarter. They need to convert it, and they need to get a turnover or two sooner rather than later.
Great block there by Lomas. So again, the role of the low pointer, the ones with the pick bars, is to screen or pick. And screening is where you see them just getting aside and rolling up court, and the pick is where they'll pick and hold the player.
So job done on that first possession from the Netherlands, but that is the absolute minimum they needed to do. They now need a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, and with no timeouts left, this is a high possibility in this last quarter.
Yes, neither team has any turnovers left. You could see there Feitosa going perilously close to the line. You've only got 4 players on the court at any one time, so the 5th player you have is the sideline or the baseline. That's your extra defender. You try to use the lines, the geometry of the court to block your opponents.
Loma's still got to get a cleaner screen, I think, there.
All 8 of them in the same piece of real estate.
Now, what are the Dutch going to do here?
Well, they're swarming around. It's man-to-man. They're trying to make sure that Feitosa isn't an outlet. The inbound's got to be...
Oh, that would be a quarter spinning foul. Yeah, you can't hit behind the axle. That's what's kind of flipped Brass out there. He got touched just behind the axle point on his chair. As we see here. There you see. Roma.
Bazan saying, who? Me?
Yeah.
Braz gets right back up. Adjusting the straps that you were talking about earlier, Jay.
Yeah.
And get ready to go again. The good thing for this lineup for Brazil, we've seen that we knew that they were going to play their 2 high pointers for the full 32 minutes. The more equipment, the more spinning fouls, equipment changes that they have, that gives them a 30-second breather here and there, and that might be enough to nurse them through to the final seconds.
And they've also, Benoit's still got 2 coaches' time up his sleeve as well, and that's two 1-minute breaks that he can call on.
This is a break as well. Everyone getting a breather. The Dutch don't want one.
They're chasing the game now. They want these scores, so that's drawing out the scores. Benoit in his usual pose with his arms folded. Well, now his hands on hips, so that's a different... must be defense time.
That's the one.
There he is.
I want to see if his assistant coach, Anna, the interpreter, if she's there as well with her hands on her hips. If she folds her arms at the same time as him and then hands on hips at the same time. Hands around the ball there for Van der Laan. Van der Dop gets it. Loma runs the screen. That's how it works for the Dutch.
Well, you know, like, wheelchair rugby has its own language, and doesn't matter if you can't speak the same language, you can still get out your message. Kevin Orr, great coach, like one of the best coaches in the world, coaching Japan there for a while. You know, it's the messages still get out there.
Yet another equipment timeout. Giving everybody a breather.
Yeah, look at the breaths he's taking in there, Bras. Much of these players, and like it, and all these squads, have full training programs. You know, it is a full-time job almost to train for these teams. Doing 15, 16 sessions a week, whether it's conditioning sessions, weight sessions. It's no longer a rehab sport. This is totally a professional sport with athletes that just happen to have a disability.
7-11 combo. The Dutch set up in the key. Thou shalt not pass.
And that wide pass again. Again, that combination. They just know where each other are going to be.
Three points the difference.
Make
that 4.
That could be the game changer here. I think this might be now a 4-point difference.
Loma has been picked off. Takes a lot to take the smile off the face of Hector Loma, but he's not going to be smiling there.
Oh, and I don't think he was aware that was happening, but there he goes. Good pace to pick that up.
So Brazil 3 points clear, and they have possession.
The Dutch not in their typical orange today, and I learnt, Drew, that we can thank carrots being orange for the Dutch. I learnt that they changed the colour of carrots to orange as a thank you to one of the English kings for helping them become their own entity in the 1700s.
There we go, William of Orange, that would have been.
Yeah.
And carrots were originally white.
And purple.
And purple, there we go, of course, yes. So a coach's timeout has indeed been taken. And there we go, Benoit Labrec, the coach from Quebec. He'll be happy there.
Yep, and arms folded, so. Yes, the Brazilians should be... I feel like the Dutch have really brought it though today. You know, like the team coming into this rank 15th in the world, they've really surprised this tournament. And I've spoken to a lot of coaches from all the teams, and each of them are like well wary of the Dutch now.
They certainly caught the Wheel Blacks cold in the opening match.
Yeah, they were totally not expecting the Dutch to be... I don't think they'd played the Dutch for maybe 6 years, and I don't think, you know, they'd seen the results and maybe thought some of them were an anomaly, but, wow, you know, the Dutch have really brought their game to this tournament. I think that advantage of the European teams where they can play, you know, they can just travel 3 hours and play the French, play the Germans. It really is a geographical benefit, whereas the Kiwis, you know, we're a 3-hour flight from anywhere.
Loma over the line to get it down to a 3-point deficit. And again, there's a multi-ball system going on.
Yeah. Don't quite think this is the NFL final of a couple of years ago with the ear being taken out of the balls, but...
Exactly, yes, yes.
Here we go, this could be turnover time now. This is trouble. When they get it in the hands of the .5s, it's harder to get away, and it just runs down the clock. But again,
two high pointers, one at the back, one at the front, and you're always going to be able to get out of jail for free.
Look at
that wasn't for free though. He had to bust out of jail there.
And again, it's that how he's and all these players are like held into their chairs by the straps around the hips. These players use snowboard binders, so that holds them in a bit tighter. They ratchet in really tight, so they can really hold onto the chairs.
Dutch needing to score quickly at the moment because they need quick turnovers. They need to take care of business on their own end as quickly as possible, and then try and force a turnover straight away.
Great work by the Dutch here. Oh!
Coulda, shoulda been a turnover there, but it ends up being another 7-11 combination, and they're going to take time off the clock.
It was such a great pick there by the Brazilian number 2. And that's the value of the low pointers. They just sneak up, get a pick, and you least expect it.
4.5 minutes to go, 4.5 minutes for the Dutch to turn this one around. Good inbound, but it still needs to get over the halfway line.
Good pressure here by the Brazilians.
Bazoun is going to have to go for it, a one-pointer. It's a race of the one-pointers. Bazoun picks it up.
Great work. He's a 1.0. He really had to push for that. His disability is cerebral palsy. So we have a range of disabilities in the sport. It's not just spinal cord injuries and quad amps. It's cerebral palsy. We have Charcot-Marie tooth. We welcome them all. We're a welcoming sport.
How well that was corralled there by van der Laan.
And it was with his hand that's got the most disability, so he really had to reach for that. So it's great work to pull that in.
And then to get the ball out to top scorer Hector Loma. Halfway through the final quarter.
Oh, great skills, Brass. The way, you know, he doesn't have any fingers on his hands. And the way he controlled that ball when it was coming up high, he just batted it down, brought it back in.
That literally was a backhanded compliment that you gave him there. He just brought that one down beautifully with the back of his hand.
It's almost like a trap and centre in football. Exactly the same.
Good little bounce pass. The Dutch fans in the crowd like that.
Now, the Dutch have only got 3 minutes to bring some back here. They're still only 3 points behind, so 1 or 2 turnovers, they can get back in this game.
There's the inbound that they needed.
Feitosa, coast to coast.
Bazone make sure he gets him over the line.
Yeah, Brazil is in no rush to score when they get possession. They control this game at this point.
The Dutch with
Good
barely
screen.
3 minutes to turn this around. Bazone seems to be the outlet all the time at the moment. Reaching foul.
And you see how well Bazone did there, because with cerebral palsy, like, they're often affected by spasms. So, like, for him to, like, control his movements at that point, to under pressure, control the ball, great work.
So penalty try awarded.
Bumped
it forward, and you know that someone's going to get on the end of it.
And who better than your mate?
Braz is there. He of the backhanded compliment, and took a little bit more time off the clock. 4 points, 170 seconds. The equation isn't looking good for the Dutch.
Well, I think both these programs have really brought something to this tournament that, you know, coming into this ranked well below the top teams here, but they're really showing that there is no real difference between 1, 12 and 15.
The Dutch desperately need a turnover straight away.
Feitosa just working background, using his low pointer. Oh, but good defense there by the
They
low.
need to get it over the halfway line.
Pass to yourself.
Then pass to your partner in crime. Two minutes, 16 seconds to go. The Dutch need a very quick score. They need an immediate turnover. And then they need to do the same all over again. There's the quick score. Feitosa coming back to take. Oh, it's been batted away, but it's still going to go. I'm surprised they didn't let that ball go out of play, but once again, Braz, Feitosa. They're going to keep on keeping on. And a coach's timeout called by Benoit Labrec. And his interpreter there. I don't think there's a whole lot that he wants to communicate. 4 points clear with less than 2 minutes to go. He's just giving his big two, and indeed his starting four, a breather. Back out they come. They don't want a breather. Braz and Feitosa, they're ready to get back out there, saying, let's finish what we started. The full minute will be taken, though. Loma desperate to get back underway. Van der Laan almost has it stolen. Is it a held ball or a reaching foul? It's a reaching foul by Feitosa. He's not going to mind. All takes a bit of time off the clock. Quick equipment change. Once again, it's time for Van der Laan. It's 4-on-3, but they're still struggling for options. Great blocking there by the two low pointers, Juninho and Couto. Loma needs to score as quickly as he possibly can, and they do that. While they were doing that, Van den Dop went and blocked Feitosa, so that meant that Feitosa had to elect to inbound. A reaching foul Can't believe it, Van der Laan, but it's a reaching foul. He's going to have to go to the bin, and that means that Brazil are going to take all the time in the world. You can see a slap on the back there. Brazil are going to take all the time in the world. They can run the clock down for a good 40 seconds. Make it a 4-point game. And ice this victory that will take them up to second place in Group B and into the semi-finals, where most likely they will face Australia. Australia taking on Germany a little later on today at 6 o'clock local time. And the winner of that match will face the winner of this one. So in all probability, Australia versus Brazil will be a semi-final. And the other semi-final, Canada versus Germany. Winners go through to the final and book their tickets for the Paralympics. Losers end up in the bronze medal match, and the winner of that bronze medal match also goes to the Paralympics. So a heck of a lot to play for, not just a bronze medal, a ticket to Paris up for grabs. The Dutch get it to within 3. Now the clock doesn't start until it's inbounded and then touched, and so the clock will start now. And it's another point, and that is going to seal the victory for Brazil. If somehow the Dutch could have kept it up the other end and provoked very quick turnovers, then theoretically they could have eaten into the 3-point deficit. But with 23 seconds to go, it's not going to happen. You can hear the pop of an exploded tyre for Van der Laan. The mechanics, they have a great mechanic, the Dutch team, and he's going to be very, very busy between now and tomorrow. The Dutch are going to finish 3rd in Group B, and that means they are going to take on the team that finished 4th in the opposing group, and that is New Zealand. So Netherlands-New Zealand is going to be one of the classification matches. Saturday is going to see the semi-finals, top of A versus 2nd in B and vice versa, and then 3rd in A plays 4th in B. And the winners of those classification matches then play off for 5th and 6th. The losers play off for 7th and 8th. Ranking points, all important. Brazil are going to take the time. And Van der Laan goes out of play, saying, I'm going to stop you from taking your time. .6 seconds. Van der Laan going out deliberately, so it's not a penalty try. He goes into the bin, and Feitosa is going to have the pleasure of the last score of the competition, unless there's a Hail Mary from the Dutch, which there is. Oh, how about that? Van der Laan comes straight out of the sin bin. That was ice hockey style. Straight out of the sin bin, received the pass. Feitosa knocks one forward, and it's not going to matter. You can see the flag waving there from the Brazilian fans in the crowd. Their team has won the final group game, defeating the Netherlands 54-51. Brazil finish 2nd in Group B, and they are through to the semi-finals. What a great performance by them. It was a tight one. There's that try again. Absolutely brilliantly bunted by Loma to Van der Laan. How about that? 1.5 to 2.5. Dutch fans in the crowd looking a little bit disconsolate, still waving the flag, Maybe their team should have played in orange today. But Brazil, what a team. Number 11 in the world. They caught Colombia by surprise in the bronze medal match at the Parapan Games 4 months ago in Santiago. Took bronze. Look at Hannah, the interpreter, giving everyone a really big high five. So they caught Colombia by surprise there, finished third in the Americas tournament, the Parapan Games 4 months ago. Have come here, and the very lowest they're going to finish here is fourth. They're one of 4 teams through to the semis, and there are 3 Paralympic berths up for grabs. Colombia having defeated Switzerland 52-48 earlier in the day. We've just seen Brazil see off the Netherlands 54-51. New Zealand stuck at 4th in the group. They will be looking to get a bit of pride back and defeat Canada at 3:30, and then Australia versus Germany. That is for top spot in Group A. Australia currently lead it on points difference. Whoever finishes first will face Brazil in the semis. Whoever faces second will face Canada. Hector Loma, big smile on his face as always. And the Brazilians waving to their fans in the crowd. Big smiles there. It was an incredibly tight contest, but maybe it was the difference in coaching that won it. Benoit Labrec, who has coached Canada, Sweden, coaching Brazil now, taking his skills all around the world, imparting his knowledge, and he's certainly, well, he's going to get Brazil inside the top 10, and they're going to keep going up and up, and as long as they've got those 2 high pointers, they are going to continue to improve. And there we go, Anna, his interpreter. I can tell you from personal experience that interpreting for a coach is great fun, because the players all look at you and they all smile at you when you're giving them the congratulations. They all glare at you as well when the coach is tearing a strip off you and you're the one who has to communicate that. But those are the vagaries of the job. 54-51 to Brazil. They are through to the semi-finals and now have a 3 in 4 chance. They've got 2 bites of the cherry of securing a Paralympic berth. Either win their semi likely either win the semi or win the 3rd and 4th place match. So we now have Alexandre Keiji Taniguchi, known as Japa, the Japanese man of Japanese origin who plays for Brazil. He is down talking to Jai Wait.
Alexandre, great victory. Thoughts?
Yeah, it was a really great game. Netherlands, really good team. But I'm so proud of my teammates. They played really well, really great. And we started kind of slow, but we took the front and never looked back.
And tomorrow, big game.
Yeah, it's a big one against the top teams of the tournament. So we'll see what happens. We still want to get the spot for Paris, so a long way to go still.
Well, good luck. Obrigado.
Thank you.
Still a long way to go. Brazil need to beat, most probably, Australia in the semi-finals, or if they lose that match, then they will need to beat whoever they come up against in the 3rd and 4th place match. Jai Wait is now down with one of the Dutch stalwarts, the 3-pointer who couldn't quite get them over the line, Davy van den Dop.
Davy, tough game. The 2 minutes of end of each quarter, maybe the difference?
Yeah, I think so. We made they put a lot of pressure on the chairs, and so it was difficult to get out of it sometimes. But overall, I think we kept on fighting and we gave them a good run for the money. So it was a close game, it was a fun game, a good experience for us. Too bad we lost, but next time we return stronger for this one.
Coming into this, you were ranked 15th in the world. You've really surprised people. How do you feel about the team?
I think we can be proud on what we achieved so far. We did a good job, first time against these kind of teams here, and I think we can only improve. And our goal is 2028. So yeah, let's see what happens on the road to there.
Well, congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
They certainly can be proud of what they've achieved. 15th in the world, and they certainly don't look 15th in the world. They look a top 10 team and aiming for 2028, the Los Angeles Paralympics. That's just over 4 years away, but it'll be interesting to see where the likes of Brazil and Netherlands are by then. Netherlands, the Oranje, the orange team, we'll see where they are in 4 years' time. But prior to that, in just over an hour's time, an hour and a quarter's time, we will have New Zealand in action against their Commonwealth rivals, Canada, in the final Group B match. That is on at 3:30 local time, so please join us for that.